the Minister of Culture apparently is no match for the Ohio State Brotherhood. At least that's been the case now.
That's an excellent intro.
2 straight games that Matthew McConaughey has had to come watch Ohio State beat Texas. The Longhorns came into the Horseshoe to kick off the 2025 season on Saturday in the Horseshoe. The loudest that I can ever recall it. Electrifying atmosphere, and they lost just like they did in the Cotton Bowl 8 months ago. 14-7. In terms of aesthetics, I won't know if I'd call it a work of art, but a win is a win, and it is pretty significant for the Buckeyes to start off on that foot. Welcome to Snap Judgments on the Austin Birm Show. He is Jeremy Birmingham. I am Austin Ward. How did it feel on the sideline?
It was electric in here. And I know that there are a lot of folks who have a lot of opinions about Ross Bjork and all of the things that Ohio State is trying to do and manage and juggle at one time. But the pregame was amazing. The War Pigs entrance when the team was getting into to do their warm-ups, I was like, wow, that is different. That was awesome. Crowd was great. Stuck around the whole game. I was worried that there was a moment in the fourth quarter where it's 14-0 and Texas goes down and tries their 17th fourth down conversion of the day and it gets stopped. And I was worried that people would start to depart. They did not. They stuck around. Just an amazing atmosphere today at Ohio Stadium. And you know, when you talk about this game, again, we said it on the pregame keys. We've said it for the last couple weeks. The loser of this game is not out. Their season's not ruined.
Whoever it was, the loser of this team was still going to be a college football playoff contender.
Right.
They're very good teams.
But that said, like, winning this game meant a lot to Ohio State because you look at the Buckeyes schedule and you look at all of the question marks on the roster and you ask yourself, like, hey, is there a chance for a stumble at Wisconsin or Washington or Illinois? Or then you got Penn State, who will be a top 3 team in the country. And then, of course, you have to go to Ann Arbor. So, like, getting this win, that is a resume. That's not a resume builder.
It's an enhancer.
That's a resume like, here's our
all
resume.
by itself? Okay. Yeah.
You know, like we beat Texas. This Texas team is going to be really, really good by the end of the season. I was super impressed by their defense, the way they fly around. All the conversation we'd had in the last couple of days about their defensive front, they showed up. They were really good. And it's a weird win because Ohio State had 203 yards of offense. They seemed to be pretty content not trying to score after the Carnell Tate touchdown. And that's because Matt Patricia's defense
they seemed torn by it, though. Like, when the second and long throw on the drive with 3.5 minutes to go, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was one of those. That's, again, you're dealing with the first-time play caller, and I was questioning that. I think if you're going to do that, you do it on the first play. But that's irrelevant.
That is too much second guessing of a win of get over the number one team in the country.
Because this was Brian Hartline and Ryan Day saying that defense is going to carry us, and they did it. And they did it even when Kenyatta Jackson went down. It looked like a concussion protocol. Ryan Day didn't want to say it in the post-game press conference, but said, well, they took his helmet away. You can't say it by name, and they never took Kenyatta Jackson back to the locker room. So all signs point to upper body. And he was walking around out here after the game, taking pictures, doing selfies. He seemed fine. Overall, just a really, really remarkable performance by Matt Patricia in his Ohio State debut. I mean, I don't think we can really start Snap Judgments anywhere other than that.
Isn't it a little bit strange that you look at a 14-7 final score and you're like, is that impressive? How impressive is it? It was incredibly impressive, and I could name 40 different Buckeyes who contributed to it. Like, it was a comprehensive team win. And you say, well, maybe they should have attacked more, could have attacked more. Should they have opened up the passing attack? You know, whatever. I think that Ohio's, there may be elements of truth to that. Ryan Day, when I asked him about it in the postgame, said, well, maybe Julian was more ready to do some of those things than Ohio State and the coaching staff thought. But
if you
once
don't
you
have
got
to put him in that
if you don't
position,
have to, then don't take the chance. And Ohio State didn't have to because this defense, to your point, Berm, Matt Patricia called a beautiful game. And watching him toy and experiment with Arvell Reese here and CJ Hicks on the last play, the deciding play of the game, how cool was that to see him come off the edge?
What a great play by Arch Manning. And like that's we talked about it all week. Like these are heavyweights, man. This is a heavyweight bout.
But it's for a 14-7 game, there was so much crammed into it.
Yeah.
Like, you could talk about Jermaine Matthews and the interception and the pass breakup. You can talk about the fourth down stops and the goal line stand. Yet again, Ohio State bowling up its back.
How many of those were there?
I mean,
3?
4 fourth down stops, but You had the key one on 4th and goal, Arch Manning with the quarterback sneak, and you have Edric Houston goes low, Caden McDonald, fighting there in the middle. He gets a piece.
Caden Curry
goes over the top, and they were those three guys. I was joking with them in the tunnel. I was like, well, who got the most here? And Caden's like, I got all of it.
Yeah.
And then Caden Curry's like, I got a pretty big piece over the top. But it takes all three of them to do that, and they did. It's like that's just rattling off 5 guys right there. That would be
Davison Igbinosun had 10 tackles.
Not giving enough credit to Davison Igbinosun or Caleb Downs or Jalen McLean flying around the football field. Like it was everyone who played for the Silver Bullets at some point, I think, made an impact. And even offensively, I mean, you can pick and choose some really bright spots. I think what I'm going to talk about next week, if we're going into snap judgments, is like maybe Ethan Onyanwa was the right combination on the right side. It was the only touchdown drive of the first half, and I felt like the running game was getting on track at that point, untracked on that point, and on track. Again, that's nitpicking. I don't know that we have to do that when you beat Texas. You do whatever it takes to get to that point. Integra's played a ton of football at right guard as well. So, the point is like you do really view this as a comprehensive team win, even if the score is not like indicative of a fun-loving game, a shootout, a blowout, or any of that stuff.
Yeah, but you couldn't have expected that. I mean, Texas was number 1 for a reason. They've never been number 1 before to start the season, and they won't be number 1 in week 2 of the season.
Who will be?
I don't know. Maybe Ohio State, but it's possible it could be LSU or Clemson. We'll see how that goes tonight.
Oh, interesting.
We'll see how that goes tonight. But I think that what you saw here, again, just a very weird day. Like you can say things about this game that we haven't said in like a decade. Like, well, the Ohio State receivers didn't help the quarterback, which, again, all week we're talking about letting Julian see the ball go through the hoop. And then he makes I'm not sure if the read to Max Clare on the first drive of the game for the Buckeyes was the right read. I know that there was conversation with him in postgame about like Ryan Day getting in his ear a little bit about that. Maybe he had Jeremiah open. But regardless if the read was correct or not, he threw a great ball to Max Clare.
It hit Max Clare in the hands.
Hit him right in the hands. Jeremiah Smith drops 2 balls. Brandon Ennis, it would have been a tough catch, but he drops a ball. All of that in the first 7-8 minutes of the game for Ohio State. And you're like, oh boy, this is not the way you want to help a first-time starting quarterback. But major kudos to Julian Sayin, who I have been wary of his ability to handle this atmosphere. And I don't know, and Ryan Day will scoff at the notion that a quarterback or any player can be a gamer. Julian Sayin is a gamer. That dude, had ice water in his veins the entire game. And Texas was bringing it from all different sorts of angles, doing a lot of different stuff up front. And Julian never seemed shook, never seemed to really get out above his skis or over his skis. What's the term?
Over your
skis. I didn't grow up in Wyoming. I don't know how to ski.
But
what a really great way to start the season. And funny enough, I think it's a reminder that Ohio State should be thrilled that these games are 60 minutes long, because the last game they played before this one in the national championship game, if it would have been 65 minutes, I think it might have had a different outcome. And if today went 65 minutes, I think it has a different outcome. But you get 60 minutes and you build everything for those 60. And what a really, really big win, man. I mean, and it sucks that Texas scored. It sucks, but
there were a bunch of people in the press box who had done some research about the last time Texas had been shut out, and they scrapped a good piece of their story.
Yeah, but
it was amusing to watch.
I mean, you think about all of the things that Ohio State had to do to beat Texas, and it was really just don't make mistakes. And Ryan Day has talked about it all week. Don't kill yourself. Don't make mistakes. Just win the game. And it was a little kind of prescient of his part to get to that juncture to say, hey, we just won the game. That's all that they had to do.
Well, he said that he had been, playing this game out in his mind for the last 3 months.
How frustrating must that be? To play the game in your mind for 3 months and then still have no idea.
And then get no idea. Here's what Ryan Day knew. It was going to be incredibly physical. The Texas defense was going to make life difficult to move the football. He was going to have a quarterback making his starting debut. And I think once you got through it to the other side, that was sort of what I took from Ryan Day's answer and the way that he addressed Julian Sayin's composure and could they have opened up the passing attack more? And the answer was yes. He was more ready for that than when he was playing it out in his mind for the last 3 months. What's going to happen the first time he's under pressure, the first time that Colin Simmons gets loose. By the way, on the touchdown to Carnell Tate, Will Kazmarek, I don't know if he's ever going to get enough credit for this. he did not stone Colin Simmons. He hit him. He got knocked back. He didn't lose his footing. He goes back and he hits him again. Like, that's one of the most unheralded great plays, great blocks of this game.
I have to rewatch.
You're gonna love it when you see it, because it gave Julian Sayin the time to finally take a deep shot that they had dialed up for Carnell Tate, because the catch was great, the throw was on the money, the Buckeyes made but watch Will Kazmarek, America, if you get a chance, because I think that was a really important play too. But there's going to be times that he's under pressure. He's going to have to escape the pocket, and all that stuff is going to become more familiar to him. He's going to grow.
Yeah.
He won the game, and what's the best thing? When you win and then you get to learn.
How many guys have ever beat the number one team in the country in their...
I'm afraid they showed the stat at the end of the game.
How many was it? How many guys have beat the number one team in the country in their first start?
One.
Who was it?
Jim Harbaugh.
Ouch! All right, well, so now there's two. And again, the Big Ten runs college football.
Yeah. It's just always circles back to this guy.
Always.
I thought we were going to just have a nice little snappy J, celebrate the return of college football. Right. Number one versus number two in the coaches poll, the only poll that matters.
Yeah, let's talk about the things that do matter heading. Now, again, Ohio State plays Grambling State next week. This is certainly not going to be the type of game that you're going to be like, well, now we got to get better. We got to ramp up. But there are questions that are going to come out of this game, and today is probably not the time to really dive into them. But that's snap judgments. It's what we do.
Yeah.
The run game, when C.J. Donaldson was off the field, was concerning.
I think C.J. Donaldson is this team's lead back. I think the number of carries reflect that as well.
19 carries today for C.J. Donaldson, 67 yards. Tough yards, like very tough yards. Saw the hole, one cut, go. That's what this team needs out of this running back, and I think James Peoples is going to be a great back at Ohio State. But if you're not willing to put your foot in the dirt and then go, it's going to cause some problems. We were both wrong. Devin Sanchez not only played.
Kudos to Devin Sanchez, man. Holy cow.
Played early. Ohio State went dime. Again, this is the thing. We just don't know. We haven't seen this defense, so it is hard to predict how it's going to look when certain things happen. And Ohio State goes dime in the first quarter.
Devin Sanchez
is out there. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that's the way it's going to go.
I was 100% wrong on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know.
I also didn't think that Nate Roberts was going to line up at fullback on 4th and 1.
Well, that one, we had a little bit of insight that he was going to play some fullback. I wasn't surprised. It was in the first game of the season against Texas at 4th and 1.
In a tied scoreless battle.
I don't know that he played any other plays in this game.
That's the only play he was in.
And cleared the way for C.J. Donaldson on the touchdown. So we had heard Will Kazmarek had said at post-practice last week that Nate was going to play some fullback. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, neat. And he did. And obviously, big touchdown. What was your impression of the debut of Brian Hartline, the play caller?
See, I know it's snap judgments, and we're supposed to snappily judge things, and I think I don't have an opinion yet.
Yeah, I think my overall read is that it was fine.
And it's not because of what Brian Hartline did or didn't do.
Yeah.
Because I think, again, I keep coming back to the way Ryan Day described this game plan, and I don't think that they went into a super conservative shell or were unafraid to win the game. It was neither team, into the second half, had any opportunity to actually throw downfield. These secondaries, the pressure up front, guys were covered.
Yeah.
Even Jeremiah Smith, you can't cover him all the time, but he wasn't even getting open in some of these plays where Ohio State, I think, clearly wanted to get it to him. So it's not to say that Brian Hartline is definitely going to become one of the best play callers in college football, or that Ohio State has to worry. I don't feel either one of those things. They appeared to collectively decide, Brian Hartline, Billy Fessler, Tyler Bowen, Ryan Day, this is what you have to do to get past Texas, to get through an opener. And in hindsight, they are coming out and thinking they could have been more aggressive. And I would say that that's probably a Ryan Day-led directive on the headset more than it is Brian Hartline being unwilling to trust his receivers or open it up. So
I thought it was a very mature game plan for Ohio State and a very mature game that Brian Hartline called. Now, again, we are not...
Ryan Day called it selfless.
That's a good word for it as well. I think that, everyone expects that Brian Hartline is going to try to focus on the receivers and prioritize the passing game, but he really took a very methodical approach to the game. I think maybe I'd like to see some Buckeyes try to run the ball outside once. They didn't do that at all in this game. But again...
Well, you said that they shouldn't.
I said they shouldn't, so maybe I'm right. I don't know. Texas, that team speed, that lateral speed is really, really impressive. these two teams, Ryan Day in his post-game press conference said, when we play them again, like, this is not going to be the same team. So
they're the two best teams, two best rosters in college football.
I'm having a tough time arguing that. Bottom line, like, you win this game and you have to be thrilled. It's Ohio State versus Texas. It's number 1 versus number 2. The Buckeyes beat the number 1 team in the country, and there's a lot to grow from this game. And then there's
tons.
And then there's also like hey, we just beat the number 1 team in the country, and we're actually going to be pretty good again.
Can you believe that Penn State messed around, took Jim Knowles, and then let Ohio State wind up with Matt Patricia instead?
Thank you.
This is going to be the coup of college football.
I think that is actually, if you know, this is snap judgments where we snappily judge things.
I said I wasn't going to overreact to Brian Hartline, but I am going to do that for Matt Patricia.
I am exceedingly curious as to how the national media is going to...
What time is the Paul Feinbaum show?
...pivot on their impression of Matt Patricia. I was talking to Spencer Holbrook from Letterman Row earlier when I was getting set up for Snap Judgments, and he said that of all of the national media that was here today, only one of the national media members was in the Ohio State press conference, and all of the others were in Steve Sarkisian's press conference. And again, I think it's annoying because no one's ever going to give Ohio State enough credit for winning a game like this. And it's all going to be about Texas and how this is now the season is on the brink, and Arch, is he or isn't he? And like,
if you want to know, I'm not spilling all the tea from the press box. I sit in close proximity to some of those national people, and the flood of folks jumping off the Arch bandwagon was amusing, to say the least. Every single throw, he was under the microscope. That's not fair to him.
Yeah, totally not fair.
And I'm not trying to
and
take
he
a
turned
victory
it on
lap.
in the fourth quarter.
He made some throws. The one on the drive,
the
late,
last drive of the game. Yeah,
you know, the throw on Devin Sanchez was like, okay, I see it there. Now, he was inconsistent, but that's also what I thought was going to happen, because this is another quarterback making your true starting debut.
Against the defense that he had no concept of.
The 2 games last year don't mean anything to me. Mississippi State is terrible. Yeah. That's irrelevant to me. In this building, as loud as it is, Matt Patricia and Arvell Reese running around like a madman.
Dude, he's real good. Has anyone told America that Arvell Reese is going to be good?
What I said on, I think, Monday at Roosters, that was the thing. When did I say that?
We talk.
Everyone was going to come out of this game talking about Arvell Reese. And if you're not America, get with the program. Arvell Reese is a freak.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Second Ohio State player drafted in next year's draft.
Okay.
I've already said it.
We have so much more that we can get to, but...
Yeah, we've got a long week ahead. And honestly, we're probably going to talk about the Ohio State-Texas game for the next 3 weeks, probably until we head out to Seattle for the Washington game, because Grambling State and Ohio are certainly not going to provide enough fodder for like dissecting those matchups. But this one matters a ton. Ohio State's 1-0. They beat the number 1 team in the country. They have vanquished the Manning. Although
the Manning ratio didn't.
Were Peyton and Eli upstairs, or were they not?
I didn't see them.
Interesting.
Maybe they knew what Matt Patricia was going to do.
Maybe. I'm sure Peyton did not like playing against Matt Patricia when he was.
The last couple, as you said, the next few weeks, we're going to probably keep breaking down Ohio State, Texas for that duration until Washington. I think it's probably going to be a little bit more enjoyable to talk about it after this, just for reasons. Ohio State.
You just love when there's things to improve on, and you still beat the number 1 team in the country in a game where you had 203 yards, but you did the little things right. You didn't turn it over. You were clean most of the game with penalties. Like you did everything you had to do. So kudos to Ryan Day. Congrats to Julian Sayin, and
condolences to the 2 Texas fans who showed up to the live Austin Birm Show to talk trash and try and heckle us.
Yeah, they were nice though. Except, one of them was nice. Yeah, the other one, you're a loser, buddy.
I guess he was crying on television. Was he doing that again today? I'm not sure. I guess we'll have to go back and watch the footage of that. But there are more Texas tears. They are a 14-7 loser to Ohio State. The reigning national champions begin their attack of the title defense with another win over the team they vanquished in the Cotton Bowl in the semifinal last year. Probably a good chance that Texas is still a very good team that they could face again. Ryan Day seems like he's expecting that. We'll see. This is only week 1 of the regular season, and it starts with the Buckeyes on top. These have been Snap Judgments on 10 TV Plus, 97.1 The Fan, Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you want to download the podcast. The audio only is available to you. We appreciate you following along with all the coverage. We have a lot more that we'll get to as we roll along. Hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. He's Birm, I'm Austin, and we'll see you for week 2.